So I thought a cool way to kind of end the year would be to do a video showing my entire Blu-ray collection and give like a little brief summary of like the digital transfer or whatever. So I also apologize for the audio. We're in the middle of a snowstorm right now, so if you hear like kind of rumbling, that's what that is. So I'm also gonna try to go in alphabetical order. I'm just going in the order that these are on my shelf. So there are some that are like technically out of order, like the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is with B's because I keep it with the Batman movies, even though it's not a B. So, but for the most part, they're in alphabetical order. So I'm just gonna jump right in with Avengers. This is standard Blu-ray. If I open it up, you got the Blu-ray disc, some ads, trying to keep the glare off of it, some random ads, and the DVD. So, pretty big movie. Came out in 2012. I bought this used. I could be wrong, but I think this might be one of the original copies of the Blu-ray. According to IMDb, it's a 2K digital intermediate. So honestly, there's not really a huge reason to upgrade to a 4K Blu-ray of this, because the 4K Blu-ray is just going to be a 2K upscale. So honestly, I mean, technically the 4K would be better, but this is like, it's going to be like, such a small difference. So I'm cool with just having it on standard Blu-ray. Next up, I got Batman Returns. This was one of the older movies in my collection, like not in terms of release, but in terms of like when the actual movie came out. This movie I've also bought used, as you can tell by the sticker. So it comes with a Blu-ray disc and the 4K. Yeah, those discs in particular do not work well with the glare, but it's all good. So this movie was shot on 35 millimeter. This was pre the digital era. So in 2019, which I'm guessing is when this came out, according to IMDb, it got a 4K native scan. So this disc is the native 4K digital intermediate. So unlike Avengers, this is actual native 4K, and there is actual benefit to buying it in 4K. So that's Batman Returns. Next up, we have my favorite movie of all time, The Batman. I unfortunately do not own the steelbook of this. I am planning on hunting one down on eBay, but at least for now, I just have the standard 4K release, which is definitely better than nothing. It's got the slip cover. Then the main thing is the exact same art. We got the back, which I'm going to try to angle a bit better. If I pop this open, it's got this code, which probably won't even work for you guys because I already redeemed it. These discs are also out of order. They're just in the order I play them in. So you got the special features disc, which has its own dedicated disc, standard Blu-ray, and the 4K Blu-ray, which you really can't see because it's like completely black. There you go. So that's the Batman. This movie was shot digitally at even higher than at even higher than 4K. So obviously the Blu-ray is, well, the 4K Blu-ray is native 4K. And it's definitely the best way to watch this movie outside of the theaters because it's such a dark movie. Not like tone-wise, although that too, but like just like cinematography-wise, it's like all the scenes are just very dark. So with 4K, you get and that higher bitrate in HDR, you get a much more accurate picture. So it definitely beats out even the standard Blu-ray and also like the HBO stream or whatever. Now, not that either of those are bad options, but if I had to choose, I would go the 4K any day. Next up, we have probably my favorite box set that I own. This is the Dark Knight Trilogy on 4K. If I flip it to the side, all 3 movies get their own individual thing. So I'll show you those one by one. So we got Batman Begins, which I guess I put in backwards last time somehow. And then if I open it, you got the movie on Blu-ray, the 4K movie, and then, yeah, I'm gonna do this once actually, just so you can see. If this is like a stack disc, so what you can do is take this off, the Blu-ray, and then you have the special features disc. I'm not gonna do this for all 3 of these movies. They're all just like that, but each movie has its own special features, like, for that movie. So yeah, definitely good. This movie is the only one of these 3 that does not have IMAX sequences, because the movie wasn't originally shot with IMAX cameras. It was shot on 35 millimeter, I believe. So it is a native 4K transfer, so definitely worth it. Then, if I set this aside over here, take out the best movie of the 3, in my opinion, The Dark Knight. This one, as I mentioned before, does have IMAX sequences, and it shows. So, again, you open it, same exact format. You got the 4K, you got the Blu-ray, and then under that, you got the special features. Really love this artwork, too. Heath Ledger's Joker. And then, last but not least, well, I don't know how I'd rank these movies, to be honest. They're all amazing. But last we have The Dark Knight Rises. Some really nice artwork of Bane. There we go. Open it up. The movie on 4K, standard Blu-ray, and then under there you got the special features. So all in all, a really nice set, and then they just kind of, here, I'll see if I can like back this up here. So you just put them in like this, yeah, so you just put them in like this. So maybe I did have it right the first time, I don't even know. Because you're supposed to have the spines facing outwards. So then you put in The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and you get the box set. So highly, I can't recommend this enough. It's a little intimidating at the $50 price mark, but it's totally worth it. Next up, I have Black Widow on 4K. Now, what's interesting about this movie is, at least like the digital intermediate is different resolutions. So according to IMDb, which I have right next to me on my iPad, which just crashed. There we go. So some of it was shot at 6K, some of it was shot at 8K, some of it was shot at 4K, and some of it was shot at 2K, which is pretty interesting. If you watch it on Disney Plus, you'll know that some of the sequences are in IMAX. Those IMAX scenes are not present on the Blu-ray, unfortunately. Disney's notoriously bad at putting IMAX scenes on their Blu-ray, unfortunately. But it makes up for it with the boost in quality. So if I open it up, same artwork. And then if I pop it open, you got the 4K disc and this standard Blu-ray, which you'll note is like the exact same style as Avengers was. All the Marvel discs, I believe, are like the exact same. Like the blue one looks the exact same on all the standard Blu-ray discs, but typically the 4Ks have a bit more art on them. So that's Black Widow. Next up is another movie from Marvel Studios. This is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, one of the better Marvel movies. What's interesting about this is, off the top of my head, I think this is my only 3D Blu-ray. I think. I could be wrong. I guess we'll find out later on in the video. But I don't actually have a 3D Blu-ray player, so, or a TV that supports 3D, so can't actually watch it in 3D, but it also has standard Blu-ray, so it's all good. So if I open this up, you got the standard Blu-ray disc, which you'll notice looks very similar to Black Widow and Avengers. You got like a bunch of random crap, and then you got the 3D Blu-ray in there. This one I also bought used for like $1 or $2. But yeah, definitely a nice addition to the collection. Next up, I have Deadpool 2, and unlike Captain America, which I had just before this, which I realized I forgot to mention, Captain America is a 2K movie. This movie, Deadpool 2, looks like it, kind of like Black Widow, according to IMDb anyway. It was shot with, looks like 3 different resolutions. So some of it was shot at 3.4K, some of it was shot at the standard Marvel 2K, and some of it was shot at 4K. So that's pretty interesting. Here's a look at the back. What's interesting about this is it features 2 different cuts of the movie on both 4K and standard Blu-ray and digital. So here we got the one cut of it. Let's see, what is this? New formats rock. Oh, so this must have come out like when 4K was like really kind of becoming a thing. That's interesting. And then you have it on standard Blu-ray, going since 06, which makes sense because that's when Blu-ray became a thing. Then here we got the super duper cut, which I just realized is not in frame, on, what is that? That's standard Blu-ray. Then you got the super duper cut on 4K. So really nice addition to the collection. Definitely worth getting this because of the 2 different cuts of the movie. Next up is the second to last Marvel movie of this list, I think. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness on 4K. Now, unlike the Disney Plus stream, which has IMAX, which the whole thing, I think, the whole thing on Disney Plus is in IMAX. This movie on Blu-ray has the black bars, unfortunately. So that's not great, but like I mentioned before, Disney's really bad about featuring the IMAX versions on their discs. It's definitely just a ploy to get you to buy Disney Plus subscriptions. But anyway, oh, yep, see? Right in there, a Disney Plus paper. So you got the standard Blu-ray with the Marvel format. Then you have the 4K disc, which they put like a shred more effort into. But what's unique about this, I mean, I wasn't really like a huge fan of the movie. I give it like a 6 out of 10. But what's unique about it is it's actually has a native 4K digital intermediate. So the whole movie, the whole way through, is native 4K, which that's really the main reason I bought this, because I wanted to see a Marvel movie like fully take advantage of this format. So that's at least something I'll give it props for. Next up, I have the Secrets of Dumbledore. This movie is quite divisive among the Harry Potter fan base. I'm in the camp that likes this movie. It definitely isn't as good as the Harry Potter movies, like the mainline ones, but I do like this. I like the world building. It's a good movie. I like it. Not without its flaws, obviously, but it's entertaining enough. So we have the standard Blu-ray disc and the 4K disc. Man, these like discs that are like all black are so hard to show on camera. But yeah, you can see that 4K and Blu-ray. So definitely a good addition to the collection. I don't own any of the other Fantastic Beasts or Harry Potter movies on Blu-ray or 4K. I just have digital copies of all of those, but I do plan on buying those at some point. Next up is Elvis. Now, in my opinion, this is definitely one of the better movies of 2022. It's got some really kind of unique art, as you can see. The colors kind of flash on it. Yeah, I really like this movie. I was expecting it to be decent when I saw it in theaters, but it was like really good. I give it like, I don't know, a 9 out of 10, I think, is fair. And then, if I crack it open, there we go. It's got the 4K disc there, some papers, and the standard Blu-ray disc. So, definitely a welcome addition to my collection. Is it the best movie of the year? God, no. But it's, with all like the vibrant colors in it, HDR does work wonders on this movie, so I would definitely recommend it for that. Next up, I have Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. I'm hoping I don't have nearly as much Christopher Nolan movies as I should. He is my favorite director, but I do hope next year, like, well, not necessarily all next year, but in the coming years to get all of his movies on 4K Blu-ray. Some of them don't exist. Like, I think Memento is only on standard Blu-ray. Following's only on standard Blu-ray, but I do hope to get them all on physical media. I got this during Black Friday this year. I think it was like $7 on Amazon, which is like crazy. What's nice about this movie, oh, there we go. So here's the 4K disc, the movie on Blu-ray, and the bonus features. So that's nice. What's nice about this movie is, in true Christopher Nolan fashion, it was shot on 35mm, but also shot on IMAX film. So this Blu-ray does feature scenes in IMAX. Unfortunately, the digital copy does not. I'm losing my voice. The digital copy has black bars throughout the whole thing, but the Blu-ray, both the 4K and standard Blu-ray, do have IMAX sequences, which is really nice. Next up, I have the Jurassic World / Park 5-movie collection. This came out, and I bought this before Jurassic World Dominion came out, so at the time there were only 5 movies. This comes with the movies on 4K and standard Blu-ray, and I'm not going to go through them all because you guys don't want to be bored with 10 discs. They're all the same. But they were shot... The Jurassic Park movies were obviously shot on film. I believe the World movies were shot digitally. I could be wrong about that, though. But at the very least, the Jurassic Park movies look pretty good. There is, like, a bit of a reddish tint to them. I'm not sure if that's just the way they were scanned or how they originally looked in theaters, but you can see, like, I don't know, it's almost like there's a slight reddish tint. It's not a big deal at all, and they still look amazing, but it's just something to note. Next up, I have Jurassic World Dominion. This movie was shot on 35mm, so it is a native 4K transfer. If I open it up here, see the standard Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray. This movie is pretty divisive, as you may know, but I'm on the side that thinks it's a good, flawed film. I give it like an 8 out of 10. Next up, we have The Martian. Love this movie. This was actually my first 4K Blu-ray, so that's pretty cool. This is a Christmas gift. So we got the extended version on Blu-ray, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've opened this, but okay, maybe not there. And then we have the theatrical and extended cut on Blu-ray here. Oh, no, I see. Okay, so I'm mistaken. So this has both cuts of the movie on Blu-ray. This is the special features. I see. And then this is where it's double stacked. Okay, I remember now. Oh, that scared me. Why is that loose? Okay, let me stack that there. Hold on. There we go. And there we go. I guess that was loose. And then we have the extended version on 4K Blu-ray. So definitely recommend this. This one was shot at, it looks like 3 resolutions according to IMDb. 2K, 4K, and 6K. Although that looks like it was used for the 3D. The 6K was used for a 3D version of the movie, I guess. I don't know. So I guess parts of this are native 4K, which is pretty cool. So next up I have what unfortunately is a Best Picture winner, Parasite. And I picked it up because of that. I picked it up because it won Best Picture and I was curious about it. Wasn't a huge fan of it. It should not have beat Joker, let me put it that way. So this movie was filmed digitally at 4K, so it is a native 4K transfer. But yeah, I just think it's very, very overhyped. I don't know. It wasn't like a bad movie by any means, but should it have won Best Picture? No, I don't think so. But at the very least, it's a cool piece of history. Next up, I have Rocket Man. This is probably my favorite, like, movie with, like, music as, like centric. I don't know if I'd consider it a musical, but it's a very, very good movie. I love Elton John, so, you know. It's got the 4K disc and the standard Blu-ray disc. And what I'm learning just now for the first time when I have IMDb open is that this was shot at 2.8K, 3.4K with a digital intermediate of 2K, which is pretty interesting. So it's not actually native 4K, which I didn't know. Next up, I have definitely one of the biggest movies of all time. Not necessarily the best, but one of the biggest is Spider-Man No Way Home. This movie, on like every rewatch, I notice more and more flaws with it, but is still a really good movie. It's still like a 9 out of 10 for me. This is the Walmart exclusive version, so it has this exclusive slipcover, which in my opinion is like the best artwork you can get for the movie for like an at-home release. And the back is just, you know, pretty generic or whatever. This release got a lot of hate because it didn't include the deleted scenes on the bonus disc, or not bonus disc, like on, you know, the bonus menu. Which we later found out was because they were releasing the quote-unquote more fun stuff version. Which still, the more fun stuff version does not have a Blu-ray release, so your only option Blu-ray wise for this movie is to get the theatrical cut. You can own the more fun stuff version, but it's digital only. I hope they release it on 4K at some point, but you never know. Next up, we have what is, in my opinion, the best Disney-era Star Wars movie, and that's The Force Awakens. This one is kind of weird. If you can tell by the box art, it kind of like cuts off here. And at first I thought maybe this was like some sort of like bootleg version that I got because I did buy this used. But no, apparently that's how all the initial releases were. So that's kind of weird, but whatever. So we open it up, and then we have what I think might be one of my favorite bonus discs ever, right up there with the Batman. This has a feature-length documentary on it, a bunch of like mini documentaries, and it's so good. I'd recommend buying this release just for the bonus disc. Then we obviously have the Blu-ray and the DVD of the movie. So yeah, really love this release. Next up, I have Solo: A Star Wars Story. I got this movie through the Disney reward system thing. I think it's called Disney Insiders now. So that's nice. I essentially got a free movie. Then if I open it up, you got the Blu-ray And what is this? Bonus features. So, yeah, that's pretty solid. This movie gets a lot of hate, but I think it's pretty good. Solid, like, 8 out of 10. Next, we have the incredibly divisive Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, I'm going to leave my thoughts on this movie out of this because I kind of want to do a Star Wars ranking video, so I kind of want to save it for that. Here's the back. I bought this at Five Below, so I think that's why we have this weird sticker thing here. And then another amazing bonus disc. The Star Wars bonus discs are amazing. They're worth the price of admission alone. So, pretty solid release just for the bonus alone. Plus, the movie obviously looks good on Blu-ray. Next up, we have the original Top Gun on 4K. This one I also bought on Black Friday this year for, I think it was also like $7, just like Interstellar, something like that, in that ballpark. This is a release I normally wouldn't pay full price for, but the sale price, sure. I prefer Maverick, which you'll see later in the video. But it's a pretty solid release. We got the standard Blu-ray and the 4K. So, yeah, very, very solid. The Blu-ray, I've heard, I haven't actually seen the Blu-ray disc, but I've heard it's a little muddy, but you know, I hadn't noticed that with the 4K, so I guess I think they did a new transfer for the 4K, so that's good to see, because obviously this was originally shot on film, so very solid. Next up is the incredibly divisive Uncharted movie. I'll leave my thoughts out of this. If you want to see my full review on this, it's on my channel, so definitely check that out if you're curious. But I really love the art on this. Very, very nice. And we got the Blu-ray and the 4K disc. This is one rare case where the standard Blu-ray, I actually prefer the artwork on that, but in general, I don't really care about disc artwork because you don't really see it, so it's whatever. But this is a very solid release. Next up, I wanted to keep my steelbooks like on their own at the very end, and I also store them separately because I don't want them to get like all scratched. So I only have two. First one is E.T. This is the little like paper that comes with it. It's the 40th anniversary release. I believe this is Target exclusive. I really like what they did with the art. Then we open it up. You get a little nifty paper there. And then you got the 4K disc and the Blu-ray disc up here. So, very, very nice release. And it's a classic movie. Spielberg, you really can't go wrong with that. And last but certainly not least, one of my favorite movies of all time, Top Gun Maverick. I'm not going to go too crazy into detail because I did a full review of this steelbook already. But just to be quick, the back, artwork, phenomenal, and the discs. This came from Walmart. This is, I think it's the normal steelbook that you get with Best Buy. The only difference is it comes with this little magnetic cover, which you can kind of slap on there. I really don't like it. I never use it, but it's cool though. And yeah, in general, love this movie. It's probably my best looking 4K disc because it's so like, it's brand new, so they were able to like fully optimize the format, and it's a very colorful movie, so I cannot recommend this enough. And that's all I have for the video, so thank you all for watching. If you have any suggestions on stuff I should add, feel free to let me know in the comments, but that's all for now. Thanks for watching.